He would sing about some very wise things about looking inside to yourself and seeing what you were really all about. And they were very compelling to me.
Look at your game, girl. What a mad delusion, living in that confusion.
And then he'd put the guitar down and he'd talk about life, and he'd talk about that we should be free, and that we were all bright and wonderful. We thought he was the ultimate underdog, that he had been misused and abused all his life, which he had, that he was the wisest man. We saw him giving everything away. We saw him at first just caring about people and pouring himself out. And so we came to the conclusion ourselves, well, he's the closest thing to Jesus Christ we've ever seen.
Was there a moment, as you have thought about it all your life, when Charlie changed and really went dark, let's say?
He started talking to us about what might happen, getting very prophetic about what might happen. He was very into the apocalypse, Armageddon, the cities burning and surviving it and finding a place to hide.
In 1968, Manson was growing increasingly worried over what he saw on the evening news.
Restless people from a sick city burn their homes down to make the sky look pretty.
In the wake of the assassination of Dr. Martin Luther King, riots broke out across America.
Cities were on fire.
Yeah, the cities were on fire.
It was a frightening time.
But what he was saying is that the blacks would get tired of burning up their own part of the city and go to the white section. And then that would start the white people, that were hoarding guns to kill anybody that came near their house, and they would just get completely out of control. And what he was teaching, basically, is that we needed to survive this.
By this time, the hippie heaven that Catherine described had become a survivalist camp.
And he was becoming like a commander, and we had to do everything that we were told. And he started terrorizing people. We weren't getting any sleep. We were being fed lots of acid. And in our minds, it was like, well, we've got to survive, and maybe he was doing all this for our own good.
Maybe the most important question that could come out of this is how could these young girls, educated, good families, become killers?
Didn't happen in one night. It was night after night after night, isolated, no TVs, no radio. He was our newscaster, he was our prophet, he was everything. He got people to stop thinking and do everything they were told, because he got them to believe that was their only survival.
When we return, how Manson's delusions exploded into violence on one hot summer night.
He told his family, now is the time for Helter Skelter.
My opening statement, I said that these murders were perhaps the most bizarre, savage, nightmarish murders in the recorded annals of crime.
I was a young reporter for CBS News. I'd just arrived in the Bureau. My more senior correspondents really didn't want to sit through another long, protracted trial. So I waltzed in, not really expecting a big trial. No one was. But there was this happening, almost like a little Woodstock.
There are still these remnants of the Manson.
As a young reporter, I quickly realized the Manson trial had all the elements of a cultural phenomenon. The chief defendant was a long-haired cult leader whose followers thought he was Jesus.
I don't have any guilt. I know what I've done, and no man can judge me. I judge me.
What have you done, Charlie?
At his side were three young women from average American homes: Leslie Van Houten, Patricia Krenwinkel, and Susan Atkins.
Susan! What did you think of this morning's proceedings, Susan?
I didn't think anything about it.
At the heart of his case, prosecutor Vince Bugliosi had one of Charlie's disciples, a 21-year-old former family member named Linda Kasabian.
All of a sudden, this young woman, Linda Kasabian, very pretty, blonde, pigtails that came down over her shoulder in a flowered dress.
You remember all that, Bill.
Comes on and starts telling this story that the nation was entranced by.
She was really cut out of different cloth than her co-defendant. She was the closest in the family to a true hippie. She was horrified by what she saw. The first time she had an opportunity, she fled the family, and she said she always knew from that night on that she was going to be the one that would have to tell the world what happened.
It was the fourth day of testimony for the prosecution's star witness. She has been on the stand all week, giving testimony that she accompanied members of Charles Manson's communal family through 2 nights of horror.
And her testimony was very, very powerful. She was the proverbial star witness for the prosecution. Very powerful. Why? Because it was very obvious to everyone in the courtroom she was telling the truth.
She sobbed, "I heard people screaming inside saying, 'No, no.' It was horrible, just horrible."
She literally captured the imagination of the nation, telling the horrendous events in detail, a murder story.
And today, when Charles Manson said, "You're lying," she spoke into the microphone, "You know it's the truth, Charlie."
Linda Kasabian's testimony certainly helped build the case against Manson's co-defendants. And their fate was sealed by forensic evidence, including fingerprints of Patricia Krenwinkel and Tex Watson found at the crime scene. But Manson himself was a different story, and Bugliosi had to get creative.
It was not easy, let's say, to convict Charles Manson. The problem is that Manson did not physically participate in these murders. He was not present at the time of the murders. So I had to bring him in indirectly by way of circumstantial evidence. And the 2 main pieces of evidence I used to connect Manson with the murders were motive and domination.
With the testimony of ex-family members like Linda Kasabian, Bugliosi had little difficulty showing the jury that Manson ran the family like a dictator.
And therefore, he must have been behind the murders. Why? Because he controlled their daily activity. I mean, it's inconceivable that these people would have gone out on their own and committed 7 of the most horrendous murders imaginable without his direction and guidance, because he controlled their daily activity.
Here's a good one.